All righty. Okay, we will call today's Housing, Urban Development, and Zoning Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Schweitzer,
Present.
Alderwoman Sanye,
Present.
Alderman Browning,
Present.
Chair Clark Hubbard,
Here.
Alderman Cone. We have 4 present. You have a quorum.
All right, with that, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes from Tuesday, January 30th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Schweitzer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Sanye,
Aye.
Alderman Browning,
Aye.
Chair Clark Hubbard,
Aye.
Alderman Cone. We have 4 aye votes.
All right, we do need to make some adjustments to the agenda today. First, I just want to send support and prayers and anything that she may need to our colleague, Alderwoman Keys, in her continued efforts that she has displayed for the tragedy that happened at the Heritage House. And due to those ongoing efforts, she is not able to be present today because she's literally on the ground helping those residents move, right? And so we want to be in support of her and finding that balance that we all have to have down here at the Board of Aldermen to our legislative work as well as our constituency care. So she did have 2 board bills on the agenda today. One is Board Bill 197 that we are going to hold. The other is Board Bill 206. We're holding that one as well, but what we are going to allow for is public comment on Board Bill 206. So, Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up?
I do not have anyone signed up at this time.
Okay, is there anyone
I don't have anyone online at
online?
this time.
Okay, so we will let the record show that we held public comment for Board Bill 206 today. And then we will continue the hearing for Board Bill 206 and 197 next week on Tuesday's HUD's meeting. We will go ahead to and hear item number 1, which is a committee discussion from the committee discussion off of the agenda. Madam Clerk, if you can read the summary and address if anyone is here.
Item number 1 is the 2601 Market Community Improvement District. The committee will discuss the petition for the establishment of the 2601 Market Community Improvement.
Is there a presentation? On behalf of item number 1? We can see it. Mr. Wilson, are you able to stand in the gap and present on this? Okay. No, I'm sorry, but this is not what we
If
were
you are
on
the meeting
item.
host, please enter your host.
We were on item number 1, the 2601 Market Community Improvement District. Okay, all right. So That's not you. I hate to have have you get back up. Rasheen did mention that you're presenting for him, but that's not what we're on right now. Is there anyone signed up? Okay, what we'll do is go ahead and let the clerk, Madam Clerk, swear you in, and then we'll move forward on the public comment on item number 1 in the committee discussions.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Okay, you'll have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, perfect. All right, well, I was just going to say this is part of everything that's being held with Alderwoman Key's absence. So I'm Patrick Eckelkamp with Midas Hospitality. So we were just preparing to give the presentation regarding the SID and the tax abatement next week when Alderwoman Keys is back with us. So anyway, just wanted to clarify that. That was item number 1. So thank you.
All righty. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so since we already have it pulled up, now we'll go ahead and move forward. Absolutely. What we'll do is move to item number 3. Ta-da.
I think you just downloaded it before I made these changes. You should just. Okay. I think. Yeah. Do it from here. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. We are back for ta-da! We've talked about this bill quite extensively, the Tax Accountability Development Act, and we've made just a few changes since the last committee substitute that you all saw. So one of the changes that you'll notice in the bill, one of the first ones, is to change the additional word of recipients rather than applicants. So the original nature of the bill required that people, in order to even start your process when you apply, you have to go get that clearance from the Collector of Revenue's office. After some conversation with the Collector of Revenue's office and SLDC, and really the timeline of putting those projects together. SODC would like to start the project of putting the project together and not have to wait for them to necessarily apply and get their clearance. It is still the case that in order for them to receive any tax incentives, they have to be in good standing, but just in lieu of the fact that it can take months sometimes for SLDC to put those packages and development agreements together, this will allow them to start that process while they wait on that clearance. You'll also notice that some of the references to SODC were either changed to the Collector of Revenue's office or the Board of Aldermen. Again, this is what we wanted to do in the bill was get some of the processes clearer of the lines of communication. And so some things are better to be housed by the Collector of Revenue, obviously verification of the information that they have to submit to Collector of Revenue. It just made sense logistically to switch some things over to Collector of Revenue. And also, since the Board of Aldermen is ultimately the body that votes on and approves any of those redevelopment agreements, that was also a move in that way, since there's all those little umbrellas of boards under SLDC and to avoid going and noting each board. You'll also notice that we changed the time frame from 7 days to 30 days. Again, this is for logistical smoothness and efficiency. Thinking if someone gets notification and perhaps they were out of town, just wanted to make sure that we've given enough time for that person to be notified and communicated with. The 30-day process is the process that's outlined for a lot of other processes as well within SODC's office, so 30 days just made sense. And then some language that clarifies that at the end of the 30-day period, so if anything happens, an investigation is triggered in the Collector of Revenue's office, sends communication to the property owner to reach out to them and doesn't get a response, we again just wanted to make the process clear in this bill. So at that point, the Collector of Revenue should send to SODC in writing, hey, we haven't heard back from this person. We reached out to them and let them know that they're not in good standing and are open for conversation, but we've not heard back from them yet. So just to make sure that it was clear when that should happen within the process. And then obviously some language just to clarify that this only will apply to future legislation and future redevelopment agreements. There are lots of things in place already, and while I know that our community has many stances on them, we don't want to complicate anything that's already in works, and it's just better if we start with a fresh, clean start. So we just added some language to make it clear that this will apply to things once this law is effective, once the mayor signs it, to things that happen moving forward. Questions?
All right, Alderwoman Slicer. I'm sorry. Alderman Cone, did you have any question? Okay. Alderwoman Slicer.
Thank you so much. Thank you for going through this and for working with the various departments and agencies that are involved in making this happen. I had a question, I think, about some of the changes with when the Board of Aldermen is listed, but I do see that it says, other decision-making bodies. So it clarifies that it wouldn't just be on the Board of Aldermen to get this recipient's voucher or anything like that.
Yes, absolutely, Alderwoman. Want to make sure, because it could be the Port Authority, it could be LRA. There's so many entities under SODC that we didn't want to go in and name everyone and perhaps miss one. So we put us, since we are the voters, and then Big and Mighty to kind of be a catch-all.
Okay, thank you so much. I look forward to supporting the bill today.
Alderman Browning.
Thank you. And thank you, Alderwoman Saunier, for bringing this forward. As I mentioned the last time we heard this a couple weeks ago, I'm glad we're putting this into the code so that we can standardize it in the future and make sure that we are playing fair for everyone. I also appreciate, as Collector Daly said last meeting, he said, good partners pay their taxes. And so I think it couldn't be said better. I just have one question, and it's just a clarifying question. On page 3 of the bill, line 14, 13, 14, and 15, it says, recipients shall, prior to entering into any development or redevelopment agreement, file an affidavit of confirmation for taxes paid with the following documents attached to the affidavit. Who are they submitting that affidavit to?
The Collector of Revenue.
Okay. The affidavit includes a recipient or statement of no taxes paid due from the Collector of Revenue. So are they taking something from the Collector of Revenue and giving it to the Collector of Revenue?
So they're going to, in case meant to be a catch-all. So it may be that they're going to show that they have payment of taxes, right, which would be collector of revenue, but it may be that they have a tax lien waiver. So they would need to show that to the collector of revenue. It may be that they've worked out a payment agreement previously, so they may need to show that to the collector of revenue. So it's just to say that at that time, any information germane to verifying that they're in good standing with.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I do look forward to supporting the bill today.
Thank you.
All right, I don't have any questions, but Madam Clerk, I would like to make a note that we needed to adopt this committee sub prior to accepting the motion to move it, so.
I move to adopt committee substitute to Board Bill number 198.
Second.
Committee substitute.
Second.
Alderman Cone,
Aye.
Alderwoman Schweitzer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Sanye,
Aye.
Alderman Browning,
Aye.
Chair Clark Hubbard.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes.
All right, and now I'll accept the motion for Board Bill 198.
I was supposed to read, I think you all got an email from Director Neil Richardson, but I was supposed to read it too, so just for record purposes.
Please.
Okay, thank you. So again, St. Louis Development Corporation has been an excellent partner, so has the Collector of Revenue's Office. And so Mr. Richardson just sent this communication to members of our committee this morning. I trust this message finds you well. I, Neil Richardson, President and CEO of the St. Louis Development Corporation, am writing to express my support for Board Bill 198, currently under consideration by your committee. Board Bill 198 represents a crucial step forward in fostering transparency and accountability in economic and community development within our city. The thoughtful provisions outlined in the bill align with our shared vision for the future of St. Louis. As we continue to work towards the implementation of our Economic Justice Action Plan, I believe that the passage of Board Bill 198 will contribute significantly to the realization of our collective goals. Your dedication to the well-being of St. Louis is truly appreciated, and I look forward to witnessing the positive impact that this bill will have on our community. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I'll accept the motion for Board Bill 198.
I moved to pass Board Bill number 198, committee substitute, out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
Second. Previous roll.
No objections to previous roll. Congratulations. Ta-da. Okay. I love the way our committee today is standing in the gap for each other down here at the Board of Aldermen. So now we're going to move to back up to item number 1, Board Bill 195, which Alderman Cone is going to stand in the gap for Alderman Rasheen Aldridge as he is in preparation to lay his beloved mother to rest tomorrow. And again, sending prayers and support to him. And thank you, Alderman Cone, for
Thank you, Madam
supporting your
Chair.
brother this way.
I'd ask that Mr. Wilson join me at the podium as well. This board bill, sponsored by Alderman Aldridge, is for 1902/1904 year. It's a total project cost of a little over $200,000. It's for 10 years of tax abatement at 95%, which is based off of the Economic Justice Impact or Plan and recommendations from SLDC and related boards. It's a renovation of a 4-family that will be 4 apartments when completed. Do you have anything you want to add, Zach?
There is one current resident that's in the 4-family that will remain. The other 3 will be renovated during that time.
All right. Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Thank you. Can you just speak to how the recommendation was gotten to for this project?
The Board of Aldermen approved a map in 2018 that we updated. The Board of Aldermen approved a map in 2018 that we update every 18 months. We follow that map. This project falls under 10 years at 95. So if you Google tax abatement city of St. Louis, that map pops up for residential projects under $1 million, and that's all.
So it's based off the MBA, essentially?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted that stated for the record. Thank you very much. Is the person who is seeking this abatement here?
No, they are not.
Okay. Are they planning on living in the building, or are they planning on selling it or just renting it out?
Renting now.
Okay, but they're planning on owning it and not flipping it. And so this would be a on the property tax, correct? Like an abatement of their future property tax?
Correct.
Okay. Is it in here? Let's see, here we go. Base taxes of $364, estimated taxes of approximately $545 during abatement and $4,000 after abatement, full market value. Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Alderman Browning.
Thank you. I have no additional questions.
Vice Chair Sanye.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. I just love this model of using incentives for residents and for residential homes. I think that developments and tax incentives, those tools should not just be for for-profit or nonprofit entities. I think that people who live in communities want to invest in them, should have access to them, and sometimes favor that model over the bigger guy getting it. So I'm always happy to see projects like this, and especially in this case, it looks like, some pretty bad conditions. So I'm glad that we're investing those resources to help support the resident to restore the property.
All right. Man.
If there's no other questions, I would just ask for the committee's favorable consideration.
All right, I'll accept the motion on Board Bill 195.
I make a motion that we pass Board Bill 195 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
All right, no objection to previous roll. Congratulations. And again, we will be in continual prayer for our brother Alderman Aldridge. Do we have any resolutions for review?
We have none.
Okay, we did committee discussions. I know we have a number of written testimonies for Board Bill 196, which again, we will hear, 197, which again, we will hear next week, out of respect for Alderwoman Keys. So were there any other written testimonies?
We have 15 in opposition of Board Bill 197. Well, you've already read it. I'm sorry. Board Bill 198. I'm sorry.
Okay. Any announcements?
Chairwoman, I would just like to ask that any written testimony that we received today for any of the bills that we would be hearing is made sure to be kept with the bills and in the folder when we do have the testimony for the bills.
So noted.
Thank you.
All right, all members were present, so we don't have any excused members. With that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, previous roll.
All right, we adjourn. Everyone have a blessed day.
Wow.